Good days, Nigeria, now on Echo Television, and you are welcome. I am Rachel Tanze, and today we're going through the economy, the politics, the security, and also the minimum wage of Nigeria together with Sambo Solomon. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Rachel.
How have you been?
Thank God.
Are you
I
ready
survived it.
We all are. Are you ready to dive into the topics for today? Because it feels like a lot. It feels like just what we've been talking about all through the week, but then just like we said yesterday, we see it happening again. And I'm talking about the security. But before we go into the security, let's talk about the economy, because the hardship keeps looming. And then now we are saying that NLC, no, it's not NLC, but the talks, we talked about it at the start of the week, that by yesterday, which is the 7th, the talks in different zones. We're looking at the south, we're looking at the northeast, the northwest. There was different locations for it concerning what the minimum wage will be. And now that the talks have started, we are seeing that NLC and TUC are not in agreement. And we know for it to be quick and fast, we need these two bodies together. We need them on the same page, because we are trusting that they will be the reason the federal government, state government will come to a conclusion quick, and then a reasonable minimum wage. And the moment we are having two mouths, let me put it like that, concerning the minimum wage, I believe that it's just going to drag this issue longer. And then we are expecting it to start the second quarter of 2024. That is by April. The salaries and that workers are supposed to receive should be implemented with the new minimum wage. And I don't want a situation where we'll see this back and forth lingering for too long, that April will come and we are still not yet with the minimum wage reflecting in workers' pay and all of that. And then we will also like to see we would just like to look at what states so far have been able to, be able to put this minimum wage. We only have 11 states that are buoyant enough to pay workers without waiting for allocation for the federal government. And of course, we know the likes of Lagos, we know of Kano, and then many, but they're just 11 in number. And we have 24 states that cannot pay without allocation from federal government, where we're looking at states like Kogi, Kebbi, Katsina, Jigawa, Plateau State, Sokoto, Taraba. We're looking at Ebonyi, we're looking at Borno, we're looking at Benue, we're looking at Bauchi, Adamawa, we're looking at Abia, we're looking at Delta. Now, these are states that without federal government allocation, we are talking about them not being able to pay 30,000 naira minimum wage. And it's from this state, from this number of 24, that we still have 15 states that are yet to implement minimum wage. And these are the statistics we have. So while we have states like Anambra, Edo, Enugu, Kaduna, Kwara, Osun, Ogun being robust enough to be able to cater for 30,000 minimum wage and even above, we are seeing that we still have 24 states that have to wait for the federal government to step in. While we have governors like Diri saying whatever is a new minimum wage, we are willing to step in and say whatever you conclude, we are ready to see that we perhaps give what you have concluded or something close to it. But these are very few states compared to the 26. We have 11 that are enough to stand on their own without. That is a small number. And just two governors coming out to say whatever is the new minimum wage, we will be able to implement it whatsoever and come through. And then what will be the predicament of these 24 states, knowing that out of these 24, we have over 15 that have not implemented minimum wage ever since 2019. And so that means that we are looking at some states with 18,000 still waiting, using the one since 2015 and thereabout. And then you can't just help but wonder, how is this going to be at the end of the day?
It is quite unfortunate when we sit down here and we talk in our own level. Like, you could just see all of these things, like, when the leaders come out to talk, you don't see I don't know. I don't know how to put it, but it will just be like the person is just there and he's clueless.
Yeah.
He don't even know what to do, why he's even there. To start with, I asked, what's the criteria for even creating state in the first place? One, you have to be viable.
Yeah.
Okay, how many viable states do we have in this country?
Yes. In the
By
few-
just this statistics that you give, we will just say it's 11.
Yeah.
So for me, I will call for merger. Yes, so now already someone has big offense. Because,
Yes,
because at some point, the creation of state is like, can we just cut a particular region so that we'll benefit from the national cake? Nothing more, nothing less.
Yeah.
And if you look at it, the reason why some of these states are being created is just for few elites that happen to be in that region, which is them and their family that are enjoying since inception, because they feel, yes, when you talk about a particular state, you call so and so family, they are the ultimate, because they are the reason why the state is even created. So you just look at the reasons why some of these states are even created. So these are some of the things that, you know, during Goodluck regime, CONFAB was like trying to address.
Yeah.
Why are we a country in the first place? Why are we not East in the first place? If you are talking about zone that even the NLC
yeah.
are even taking this issue of minimum wage, the public hearing, to zones. Why are we not East? Why are we Southwest? Why? What's the reason? You understand?
Yes.
I believe it's because we want to see development. We want to see some of these regions, some of these states challenging each other to a better region, a better state, a better society, that the citizen will beat his chest and said, I am glad, I'm proud, I'm a Nigerian.
But have we achieved that?
The answer is no. And that's why I'm saying, if you look at it, yesterday I've said it, I said, even this issue of minimum wage and the rest, for me, personally, I would say it's just another way to just cut money and to just dash some certain people money for going around the state in the name of committee,
like
or that's why I say personally, that's
Yeah.
how it is. Because at the end of the day, is when you see result, then that's when you go back and say, really, this committee have really worked. If you're talking about the issue of minimum wage in the first quarter, second quarter, that's when you are being expected. Already, there is argument already.
Yes,
Some
there
are
is.
saying 400, some are saying
We can
500,
just
some are
quickly
saying
go over to what NLC in these zones are saying. For
Yeah.
example, we have the Southwest leaders for the NLC and the TUC saying they are proposing it should be 794,000. Now, this is coming from the NLC, but then the TUC is proposing 497,000. And then when we go down to the south, the southeast rather, we are seeing that the NLC is saying 540,000, while the TUC is suggesting 447,000. Now that is for southeast. Now we're looking at the south, right? Saying it should be 850. Now we're looking at the northwest, angling, saying that it should be 485. Now we are looking at for those in Ilorin, these are the comrades now saying it should be between 120,000 to 200,000. That is at the southwest level. These are what they're saying. While we have the NLC having over 794,000, TUC saying 497, we are now having the comrades at a particular state. This is Kwara in specific, saying that it should be between 120,000 and 200,000. So not only is there division for the NLC and the TUC, we're also seeing states. Now, if we are grouping it for the Southwest, we are now seeing a state out of them saying it should be between 120 to 200.
like if you're talking North Central, even though they are still yet, for
yet
North
to
Central,
come
but
up.
already Plateau State is saying 80,000.
80,000.
Do you understand? So by the time you bring all of this together, the issue is not the money. Now we're talking about 15 states that could not even pay the 30,000 minimum wage.
Yes.
The question, do we have zones there?
We
do we have leaders of
Of
those
course.
zones, as in NLC and TUC? What have they done? how many years
All
from
those
now?
why.
Yes, all this
Yes.
why. Yeah, that's we need to ask this critical question. What have they done all this why to pin those governors? Are these governors still on seat, or are they still alive?
They are very much.
If they are, that means it's a law. They violated the law. So what happened? So that means they deprived those people from what the Constitution
Yeah.
like stipulated, that this is their right.
Yeah.
You understand? Okay, some people are up to the game, like they are paying. So you compare those civil servants in that location on that state, compare with the other civil servant in the other state that the governor or whoever is in charge has been faithful. So means somebody has been deprived. So even the input when it comes to work, manpower, if we are talking about production, moving the country forward, that whatever you call it, salary,
The wage awards.
award or whatever, it's just to motivate you that you are doing something and you are getting something so that you put more. It's a motivation. So how do you expect those people to perform? We didn't hear those people, those leaders of NLC, TUC and the rest coming from that zone to say up till now these people didn't pay and we are taking them to court.
We haven't heard that.
We haven't had that.
Yeah.
And this second one is coming. So is it that they are going to balance that one, or we are starting on a new pitch? Even this one, you can see how it's going. That's why I said what I said in the beginning.
Exactly.
And now after everything, the next thing you hear that whatever is being agreed now, there's no budget for it. So we have to either do a supplementary budget
Exactly.
to cover it.
We're already seeing the lawmakers moving that, precisely the House of Reps moving that there is a need to review 2024 budget that has already been passed. Why? Because of FX crisis.
Yes, yes.
So now that is for the foreign exchange crisis that we're going. And it's just to concur with what you said, that we are most likely going to see either a move for a review or a supplementary budget, because that budget did not include the new minimum wage, because it wasn't it wasn't there. We are yet to conclude on it. So what are we saying, or where are we heading towards?
So how visible is that? So, and you know how when issues come and people will use it to politicize and drag issues to buy time with certain things like this. So even when they agree on a particular amount, so
exactly. And then the question is, mathematics, though, so what's the probability that 36 states will be able to pay the minimum wage if eventually we come to it? Because if we're going to take an average, let's do math and say we have an average that the NLC, for example, says is 300,000. The TUC say is 200,000. And then state governors are saying, okay, what we can give you is 150. We sum up and we divide, because it's a tripartite committee. It is three different sections of people representing. We have governors, we have the NLC, that is our, I don't know, I'm losing out of the word to use to generalize them. It's not only the NLC, we have OPS and all of these people represented in this group. And then eventually we have the at the federal government level saying, okay, this is what we can give, and perhaps they come to an agreement that, okay, it's 200. This party is saying 200, and the second is saying 300, and the third is saying 150. And we add it up, we divide it, for example, and then we come to a standstill, for instance, of 250,000 naira as minimum wage. It's not going to play out as I've calculated it. Just let's have it clear. This is just speculation. This is just an assumption. Precisely. But then we come to a point of 250,000, for example. Now the question is, what probability is it that 36 states in the federal government or in the Republic of Nigeria will be able to pay this minimum wage? Just as you said, we have 30,000 where the NLC have failed to follow these governors and say you have deprived people from earning 30,000 naira in 15 states. How are we sure that the NLC will be able to come through? If you failed in 30,000 naira, how are you going to be successful with 250,000 naira? And then what is the probability that we have 24 states that if the federal government does not step in, they cannot even pay minimum wage? And now we are upping the game to 250, for instance. How are we sure, or what is the probability that we will have 36 state compliance when it comes to minimum wage payment?
The issue of minimum wage, it's possible. That 250,000 that you said is possible.
But I'm just it's just an assumption.
No, I'm just using that. I'm just using that figure.
Yes.
Assuming that's what finally they will agree, 250,000.
Yeah.
Even 500,000 is possible, Rachel. It's possible. It's possible.
It is. It's actually very possible.
It's possible.
Yes.
Why? Because you look at the elite, the House of Assembly, for instance. How many are they? Check their budget. Check their budget. Their take home. And that is why sometimes you find that even the civil servants, they are angry because somebody would spend just 4 years. 4 years representing his people. But what he will take, a civil servant will serve to a level of director,
years.
35 years, and retire, will not get even have
nothing close.
Nothing close.
They won't get. You won't get for 35 years. Your gratuity will not be up to what they get in just a month. We're not even saying for 4 years, just a month. Your whole gratuity for your 35 years of service, serving Nigeria, you will not get your gratuity. You will not get up to what they walk home with in a month. Looking at allowance, not basic salary, looking at allowance and every other thing, you will get up to that amount.
I'm just drawing your mind to all those small, let's just break it down so that people will understand. If you are talking that, you just say a month. I just said for 4 years.
Of course, just a month.
You understand. And that's why you look at it, and then a civil servant is just reluctant with his work, and he just feel somebody is just there. And here we talk about a car of 150 million.
Yes.
Hello? Is there any civil servant that would finish 35 years and get
even if you're in a good position and you try to be a thief as a civil servant, you won't be able to afford that car.
Do you get? So let's break it down. So what I'm trying to say, not that, but we're trying to say, yes, it's possible if you can pay those kind of on. If you can spend that on, that means it's possible. So the issue is here. Why are other people not paying? What are the reasons? We check. If it's fraud, they should go to prison.
They should, yeah.
As we are talking with this hardship, there are some states now that are owing salary.
Yes.
With the fuel subsidy, some states, or if not all states, they have an increment in their own subvention. But still yet, some people are not even collecting the palliative. Some are giving 10,000. And I ask, just 10,000, but at least better than to say none. But we expect to see more. So we have to see a government that is people-centered. You understand? Because the moment you make this thing look like, okay, it is our country, we just have to do this together. It's not that it's for particular people. Everybody will put his effort and will make sure that things work for this country. I'm just hoping that at the end of the day, you know, they will agree on something. But what my point is that these people that didn't pay, what happened? Follow them. Check. Is it that there is money and they refuse? Because it's wrong. Any governor that cannot pay salary is not supposed to be a governor. Because number one, paying salary is not a political achievement.
It's not.
It's not, because before you become governor, there are civil servants that have been there and they have been paid. So coming to pay them is not a favor, it's their right. So people should know. And because your governor is prompt paying you salary, don't celebrate him.
No, he's just doing what is expected.
He's doing what is expected. He built road. It's your entitlement.
It's your tax that was used to build that road. So you literally are the one who built the road. It's not the government, it's you.
That is it.
They are just through the government.
So let's see people being punished for breaking the law. It's as simple. So by doing so, everybody will up his game. You know you're supposed to pay salary, you will do it. And I see that any state that cannot pay salary is not supposed to exist. And there's no state in Nigeria that today you will tell me that with their AGR they cannot pay salary. It's just that we don't look inward. our eyes is on the center because of the allocation. So we just go there and we forget with what we can generate inward. We begin to see changes in Plateau State, and we begin to hope and pray that this present government would set the pace, not just in northern Nigeria, but it's going to set a pace like in the country, that this is how governance should be. By what is happening, we are hoping and we are trusting God to see that, and other states should follow, because we can't say there's any state in Nigeria that cannot pay 30,000 or cannot pay salary until they receive subvention. I didn't see that state. They are just playing politics. Some people are enjoying the money, and then they are just quiet about it, and the citizens are not asking.
Now, we don't have much time, but like in 2 minutes, literally 2 minutes.
Okay.
Let's quickly see how, let's see what just took place in Kaduna, and by what just happened, we were talking about yesterday when we are here talking about the insecurity is actually still happening elsewhere. And of course, it's not something new to us. And then we are seeing a kidnap of over 200 pupils taking place in Kaduna State. We are looking about LEA primary school at Kuriga in Kaduna State, and then this didn't just happen in the primary school. We're talking about Chikun local government. It's not the first time Chikun local government is under attack. We've seen it on the paper over and over. It almost like it's a soft spot for bandits and every other criminal activities. And then the number is just that from the GSS, that is the secondary school, we have over 187 students being abducted. And then for the primary school, 125, and then 25 were able to escape and then come back. This is numbers and report from a teacher giving an account. This is a school of over 700, and they didn't know how many were taken until when everything had taken place. They decided to do a head count. Okay, these are the numbers of students. These were the numbers that reported today. And out of the numbers that reported, we are having 187 for the secondary school missing, over 125 pupils for the primary school missing, and then 25 were able to find their way back. It was after everything and everybody's head was down back to normal. They could able to say, okay, you know what, this is the number, and we have 280, give or if you do the math, you sum it up, we're looking at a number that is almost 280 or even above. And then we are saying, how are these people so successful to be able to go away with 280 individuals? We're not talking about chickens that is you can maybe just put them even chickens, but we're talking about human beings, different size, because if we're talking about secondary school, there are definitely big matured pupils, students and all of that.
Yesterday I said something. We like playing politics with everything, and then some people are really cashing out. That's just the truth, because if not, we shouldn't have been hearing this happening. This country, where are the DSS, where are the NIAs, where are the, name them. Yeah. Name them. Capable, well-trained, going out for international assignments, coming out with so many awards and accolades, name them. Why is it happening to us? Yeah. Like 200 people, like, to take them to where? How? How? Even if it's 50, even if it's 20, as long as the people, that number, you will notice their movement. Where are the drones that we're talking, that police and
we see NFA
UK government
with drones but keep bombing wrong locations and all of that, and for some reason now those drones are not functional.
Do you understand that you can track these people? Till today, as we are talking, some of the Chibok girls are still in captivity.
And that's my major concern, because anytime there is a huge number of kidnapping, the rate of getting these children back in their total number has always been difficult. And that is my worry, is that anytime there is such a huge number, fewer people get to return back. And we will now start having years, even when we had the train attack, where over hundreds of people were kidnapped, we are not still sure yet, because we were following. At some point we stopped because the numbers were no longer. And now the challenge for me is that we will be able to get back these 280 students that were taken from their schools.
They shouldn't have been taken in the first place, because somebody is not losing his job. Somebody is not losing his job.
Yeah.
This should not happen. You travel with them. Is it voodoo? They just disappear? Like you can't find them? Or what? Is it in the same country, or they have traveled with them to another country?
It's not in a border of any country.
You don't have border?
Yeah.
Is it between another country that they pack your people in order for you to negotiate between those two countries? The answer is no. So why? And you see, when I said, when you see people coming to negotiate with with terrorists in the name of, you allow such things to breed to a level that you cannot control. This is not acceptable. You are not supposed to dialogue like with terrorists. Give them what they are giving you, because if life of a citizen matter, definitely you will do everything to protect one life, not talk of 2, 3, 200. And up to now, we are talking since 2015, like, you remember that cheat and the rest. We are talking here now today, like nowhere to be found. And government, all promises and the rest, where are they? Are we supposed to be talking this? Please, somebody should be fired.
Yeah, I think that's the only way forward. If somebody loses their job, maybe we will start making headway concerning security in the country. Thank you, Sambo Solomon, for doing this with me. And to our viewer, thank you for not going anywhere. Thank you for joining Nigeria Now. Till we come your way next week, do have a pleasant weekend.